Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What's good, y'all? It's your man Hezo, and welcome back to the Blacktop, where I always got next. You feel me? This probably had to be the most frustrating loss of the entire season, and that includes the blowout loss against Boston. This was just an unacceptable loss for this Hawks team, and I said it in my last video. You just never know, man. You can never take any team lightly. This is the NBA, and you never know what can happen. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Leave a like on the video. We are on our way to 900 subs. 1,000 is right around the corners. And again, I am going to be doing a jersey giveaway. I finally decided I'm going to do a jersey giveaway if we get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. So with that being said, let's get right into it. I was going to do a full breakdown like I normally do for this game, but it really came down to one thing. This was a game of runs, and really it came down to the fourth quarter collapse of the Hawks. And credit to Houston, they battled the entire game. They did not give up. They fought and fought and fought, kept chipping away, and the Hawks just completely collapsed in the fourth quarter. Outscored 34-18 in the fourth quarter, and that includes 6 missed free throws. 2 by Trey, 2 by Kongwu, and 2 by bum-ass Aaron Holiday. Just unacceptable. Unacceptable for the Hawks. You have to do a better job, and Houston did a hell of a job. I mean, they basically minimized everybody else. Trey and DeJounte go out and get 40, and you still lose. That's just unacceptable. Oh my God, man. This loss was the most frustrating loss of the season. Absolutely dominated on the rebounds tonight, on the glass, through the entire game. The offensive glass was just there the entire night for Houston, getting to the paint at will. The paint defense was absolutely horrible, and it showed that we were missing Clint tonight. With his presence not being there, and just it shows his value to this team with the paint defense and the rebounding that he gives when he's out there, and not having him just absolutely killed us tonight. Just couldn't get stops, man. We couldn't get stopped. Jalen Green was incredible the entire fourth quarter, really the entire game. He had over 30, one of his better games of the season. Jabari Smith stepped up once again. He's had a nice back-to-back nights. He hit big buckets on the stretch of the game. Big offensive rebound he had late in the game. But it really just came down to Atlanta just not being able to crash the glass and not being able to execute. I mean, with Trey and DeJounte, I mean, they both had 40, but it's so frustrating when you see 2 guys get 40 and you don't close it out. You blew a 16-point lead, up 10 going into the fourth quarter, and you blow it. And this is one of those trap games where Houston has nothing. They're not playing for anything. They're playing free. They've won 1 game at home this entire season. They have nothing to lose, man. They're not playing for anything. It really motivates teams that are bad to beat playoff teams, especially when they come into their building. And Houston did that tonight. Hats off to the Rockets. They did their job. They busted our ass the entire fourth quarter. Jalen Green, again, I already said it, he was a bucket. I mean, this is a game where our backcourt was on fire the entire night, but they really didn't get much help from anybody else. The bench was absolutely atrocious. Once again, Aaron Holiday sucks. I've said it numerous times. The Holiday brothers suck. He missed 2 free throws late in the game. Now, obviously, that's not all on him because, we missed 6 free throws the entire fourth quarter. That's just not going to get it done, man. You got to do a better job closing out and making your free throws and closing out a game. This Hawks team has done a poor job of putting teams away when they get up big. We saw the same thing against Sacramento when they were up almost 20 and Sacramento climbed back into the game. Now, obviously, it was a different outcome. We won the game. But even still, man, we've seen numerous times this Hawks team blow big leads and can't put teams away. So frustrating to watch, man. So frustrating to watch. John Collins had another bad offensive game, but I'm not going to speak on that. Y'all already know how I feel. Dre didn't really do too much tonight. AJ Griffin, he had 3 big threes in the first quarter as soon as he got into the game, but didn't really do too much the rest of the game. But he really was the only spark off of the bench. The bench was just an absolute no-show tonight. There's one quick stat that I want to point out before I get into my final takeaways, because again, there really wasn't much to take away from this game other than the fourth quarter collapse and then Trey and DeJounte going crazy the entire game in a loss. One stat I want to point out is that Houston had 22 turnovers and won the game. There is not too many times that a team can turn the ball over 20 plus times and come out with a win. And that's on Atlanta for not executing off of those turnovers and getting enough buckets down the stretch of the game when Houston was turning the ball over, because they had a handful of turnovers in the fourth quarter when Atlanta had a 3 to 5 point lead and Atlanta just couldn't capitalize. Houston got the momentum. They put the foot on the neck of the Hawks, and they ended up coming out with the win. Again, credit to the Rockets for that. They did their job, went on a huge fourth quarter run, and that's that. So not a very long recap. I'm gonna get into my final takeaways. I'm just so pissed off. I have no energy after this freaking loss. It's just, I'm so frustrated right now. And I had a really bad feeling about this game. I don't know why, I just did. Because of the inconsistency with this team. Again, it continues. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. It continues. It's been like this over the last, 2 weeks now? We cannot find a way to string together wins, and it's just extremely, extremely frustrating watching the inconsistency of this team when they just continue to win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And so it's been nonstop. It's been like that for the last 2 weeks. I'm so tired of watching it, man. I really am so tired of watching it. So number one was the fourth quarter collapse. And for Houston, when you have 22 turnovers, but when you keep giving second chance opportunities and crashing the offensive glass, that builds momentum. It lets a team get momentum to be able to get back into the game. And that's exactly what Houston did in the fourth quarter. They were down 10 going into the fourth, and they jumped on Atlanta the entire fourth quarter. And like I said, Jalen Green went crazy. He had a big fourth quarter, even though he did foul out in the end. Atlanta they just couldn't get stops. Towards the end of the game, they couldn't get defensive rebounds to keep them off the glass, to stop those second chance opportunities. And Trey and DeJounte, as good as a game they had both, I think both players had 40, which just sickens me that it was in a loss. Both players had 40, but it was hero ball down the stretch of the game. And I'm not going to blame them. They were doing it. They were playing so well all game, and nobody really was stepping up. So I'm not going to blame them for trying to get a bucket when we really needed it. So I'm going to give them a pass for that because they had 40, and I'm not going to blame DeJounte and Trey, the two guys who did come out and do their job. I'm not going to blame them for this loss. Number two was the absence of Clint Capella, and I've already touched on it with the rebounding and the paint defense. It just really shows how valuable Clint Capella is to this team with the defense that he brings, being able to switch and being able to guard the perimeter a little bit better than he has in the past. But just his ability to crash the glass and keep teams off of the offensive glass. We really miss CC tonight, and I think that was a huge reason why Houston was able to climb back into this game and ultimately get the win. Number three was Trey and DeJounte. Both players, shout out to them. They played an excellent game. Show that they are still the first or second best, backcourt in the Eastern Conference, between them and obviously Garland and Mitchell, whoever you want to argue. I said Garland and Mitchell is better as a backcourt. I don't know how I feel after this performance, but it was in a loss, so really how much does it matter at the end? DeJounte Murray had a career night, hit 8 threes. Trey had another big game, but it just wasn't enough. It was not enough in the end because they just didn't get enough guys to step up and could not generate enough stops on defense and keep Houston off of the glass. I mean, I feel like I'm a fucking broken record, but that was really the blueprint to why Atlanta lost this game, was because they could not keep Houston off of the offensive glass. It's just that simple. And the defense, they just couldn't get stops. The offensive glass and defense was why Atlanta lost this game. So my fourth and final takeaway, once again, is the bench. The bench, just another no-show tonight, other than AJ Griffin, who gave really good minutes. He hit 3 threes in the first half. Didn't really do too much in the second half, but he didn't really get too much shot opportunities, and that's fine. I mean, he still had a good game off of the bench, but no other guy stepped up. Aaron Holiday, I've already mentioned him. He's terrible. Justin Holiday got in the game for like 32 seconds. He's also terrible. Jalen Johnson didn't have a good game. I hate when he takes threes, and I know y'all feel the same way about JC, but we know JC can hit it. Jalen Johnson has not proved that he can be a three-point shooter in this league, and I really want to see him just attack the rim more. I've mentioned that in the past. He's so athletic and can get to the rim and finish at the rim. That's Jalen Johnson's game, and he just doesn't do it enough. Overall, the bench was just terrible, and it's tough to really get a win when you don't have a bench really producing. But either way, it's unacceptable because this Houston team was shorthanded tonight. No Eric Gordon, no Şengün. It's just unacceptable. I don't even know what else to say, man. They completely blew this game, and it was extremely frustrating to watch. I'm gonna pretty much leave it there, man. And my apologies for my energy tonight. I'm so frustrated. I mean, I'm exhausted for over the last couple of days, but I'm so frustrated with this loss, and I've said that 1,000 times. I'm so frustrated overall with the inconsistency of this team. It's hard to watch, man. It really is. When you're a diehard fan of this organization and they are just so inconsistent, it was the same thing last year, and it looks like they're about to turn the corner, and then they drop a game like this. Now, I know Houston was on a huge break. They had like 4 or 5 days off, but even still, man, it's no reason to lose to a team that's 3-15 or 3-16 or whatever they are. It's just unacceptable, man. And again, it's the NBA. You cannot take any team lightly in this league, because if you do not come out and put a team away like they should have tonight after being up 16 points, if you do not keep your foot on the neck and put them away, when you give a young team like Houston momentum to get the crowd energized with the dunks and everything and the offensive rebounds, it's a recipe for disaster when you let a team like Houston back into the game. It is what it is, man. We chalk this up as an L. We move on. We got Miami on Sunday. Hopefully we can bounce back with a win, which the way that, the trajectory is win-loss, win-loss. Like I've said, we should get a win on Sunday, but you never know because this Hawks team is so damn inconsistent. I wouldn't be surprised if we come out with a loss. And we got Philly on Monday, and then I'll take a look at the rest of the schedule. I can't remember what it is, but 2 tough games coming up, man, and it's not looking too good for us after this loss tonight. Hopefully they use this as a motivation factor to, that they let this game slip away, but we'll see, man. Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought about this game overall. What did you think about the collapse? All that type of good stuff. You already know, man. Leave a like on the video, and I will catch y'all next episode.